Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you a step-by-step tutorial of how to change the front brake pads in a 2004 Kia Rio. Alright, the tools you will need for this job are a jack stand or a backup jack, something to compress the brake caliper, which I'm using basically a pry bar, bricks, a 4-way or something to loosen the lug nuts in the tires, socket, and a flathead screwdriver. The first thing you want to do is make sure your e-brake is on and set the bricks. I have one brick on the back of each wheel, of the rear wheels. You may need to put a brick on each side of each wheel, but that's depending on how your driveway is leveled. But for me, this is all I need. Alright, before you jack up the car, you're going to want to take off this cap and you're going to loosen the lug nuts just a little bit. Now you're going to want to jack up your car. The lug nuts loosened and the car jacked up. It's time to insert your jack stands or your backup jack. Now take off the tire. With the tire removed, it's time to use your socket and remove the brake caliper. For this might not be that easy. You may want to use like a bar or something to give you extra leverage. Like for instance, I figured out that I could use my bar to my jack and I can attach it to the socket like that, and it should be able to crank this bolt loose. With the two bolts loosened, it's time to remove them and pull out the caliper. I like to sit to the side and use the tire to hold it up. That way the brake line, I don't know if you can see it, doesn't get pulled on. With the caliper off, use your screwdriver to pry off the brake pads. There's one. Make sure you keep track of each brake pad to get an idea of which one goes where. It just makes it easier when you put the new ones on. And there's those pads. I don't know if you can see, but they are worn. Especially if you compare them to the new ones. Yeah, here's the new one. And here's the old one. You can see a very big difference in the thickness of the two. With the brake pads off, I'm going to show you a little secret of how to compress the brake caliper, or the piston on the caliper. Basically, it involves putting the caliper back on, and then you're going to use a pry bar to compress it. Before compressing the piston, make sure you remove the cap on the master cylinder. And to compress this piston, you're going to want to go right in between, and you're going to want to get your pry bar in here in such a way that you're able to go forward and compress that piston. You may have to go back and forth and readjust, but one way or another you will be able to compress this piston, and that's very important to getting the new brakes on. Okay, now it's time to put the brake pads on. These just slip right in. it might be a little difficult to get them in at first, but just play with it and you'll figure it out. With the pads on, it's now time to put the brake caliper back on. As far as the bolts go, there isn't really, you don't really need to worry about any torque spec requirements. Just get it tight, but don't, you know, don't put all your weight into it. Just get it tight and it should be good. Okay, with the brake caliper all set, it's time to put the tire on. Okay, to tighten the tire, basically you want to get the tire on, get each bolt hand tight or as tight as you can get it with your hands, and then from there you're going to want to do a star pattern. This is a 4-lug, so it's not really much of a star pattern, but basically I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to keep repeating that slowly until it's pretty much as tight as I can get it. The goal of this is to get each bolt evenly tightened. That's the goal of this. Just a little heads up, depending on your setup of how you have the car jacked up, you may want to lower the jack to allow the tire to hit the ground before tightening it as tight as you can get it. Or, you know, I mean, you don't need to go as tight as you can get it. It really depends on how strong you are, but the bolts do need to be tight. With the tire tight, it's now time to put the car down, pick everything up, and try it out. Also, don't forget the cap on the master cylinder. That needs to go back on. Alright guys, didn't make any noise, so looks like it's good. I hope you enjoyed the video.